New this morning, Colorado received federal money to make improvements along Highway 287.
Construction will stretch from the Colorado-Wyoming border to the Boulder County line. Now, news reporter Brianna Fernandez is live in Boulder for us this morning. And Brianna, this is a stretch of highway that sees a lot of semi-trucks and unfortunately a lot of crashes.
Yeah, it could get really busy out here. So Highway 287 project will include a couple of things, and that's all thanks to that $47 million federal grant that the state of Colorado received. So essentially, it's going to be two different projects up and down Highway 287. So according to CDOT, they see a lot of crashes up and down Highway 287. So the stretch of Highway 287 from Boulder to Longmont sees a lot of crossover accidents, meaning people going into the wrong lane. If you're not familiar with this area, it's a wide 4 open lane stretch. So the goal here is to place a concrete barrier in the median to help with any confusion. Then you have that second part of the project. It stretches from Fort Collins all the way up to the Wyoming border. It's a stretch of road where 3 University of Wyoming swimmers died in Larimer County. So that happened earlier this year, back in February. Their car went off the shoulder and rolled multiple times. Colorado State Patrol thinks the driver swerved to avoid a car that had slowed down, but crashes involving wildlife are somewhat common as well. They account for about a third of the accidents along that stretch of Highway 287. So one improvement will include installing animal fencing.
We'll also be adding some passing lanes, so that's a little bit safer throughout that whole stretch. So it's gonna be a major project. But it really is a major corridor, as everybody knows, between Wyoming and Colorado. Also ends up being a major issue when we have bad weather.
So the big question here is, when will that project start and will there be traffic impacts? When it comes to traffic impacts in any road construction, there's always going to be some road closures, some crews here on scene. So you are going to see some overnight construction happening along Highway 287 and some daytime road work as well. So Colorado CDOT says that you should probably take I-25 once you do see those lane closures. As for when that project will start, CDOT says right now they are in the design process. So it's going to take a couple of months, and hopefully they can start that construction in 2025, so next year. For now, I'm live here in Boulder. Brianna Fernandez for 9 News.
All right, Brianna, thank you.
Today, the trial is set to start for the man accused of killing a woman and a Commerce City police detective in a crash over 4 years ago. On October 16, 2020, Colorado State Patrol says Fructuoso Rosales Cano lost control of his car and swerved across Highway 2 in Commerce City, hitting 2 cars. The crash killed Kurt Holland and Francesca Dominguez. Holland was a detective with CCPD and was on duty when the crash happened. Prosecutors charged Rosales Cano with a DUI and vehicular homicide. His trial is set to start at 9 o'clock this morning in Adams County.
Also happening today, the man facing charges in connection to a deadly crash in Lakewood is set to be arraigned. The crash happened back in June at the intersection of West Colfax and Garrison Street. Police say Ilya Slavin was driving on Colfax when he ran a red light and crashed into an SUV before rolling into a shopping center and hitting another car. One woman died at the crash and her passenger was seriously hurt. Police suspected Slavin was under the influence at the time of the crash. His arraignment is set for 1 o'clock this afternoon in Jefferson County.
Today, Democratic State Senator Chris Hansen of Denver is expected to make an announcement. He just got reelected for 4 more years, but we're hearing he plans to step down and not serve the term. Less than a week after he won the race for District 31, a dozen sources in and around the state capitol says he'll be resigning. So the 72,000 people who voted for him will have to wait for a vacancy committee to pick his replacement now. Of the 100 current lawmakers serving out their term through January, 29 entered the Capitol through vacancy committees. Once the new lawmakers get sworn in next year, that number will drop to 19. It's a well-known problem. An internal message from Denver Democrats suggests 2 members of the state house may run for Hansen's seat, creating the need for a vacancy committee for their seats too.
President-elect Donald Trump is building his administration right now, making some quick picks for who will work alongside him, especially when it comes to foreign affairs.
You'll likely recognize some of the names. New this morning, we have learned South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem will be Trump's new Homeland Security Secretary. She'll be tasked with overseeing an agency that covers everything from U.S. Customs and Border Protection and Immigration to FEMA and the U.S. Secret Service. Noem had once been on Trump's shortlist for vice president, though her relationship with Trump shifted after the negative rollout of her book, No Going Back, in which she wrote about her decision to kill an unruly puppy as a sign of her leadership skills. Noem said she hated the dog because it wasn't a good hunting dog and killed her neighbor's chickens.
Right now, Trump's staff is implying that he's likely to pick Florida Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. You may remember Senator Rubio from his bid for the 2016 presidential nomination, which failed. He also has been a vocal opponent of China during his time in the Senate.
Trump also picked Florida Congressman Mike Walz to be his national security advisor. Walz is a Green Beret veteran who served in Afghanistan, the Middle East, and Africa. He's also been a vocal opponent of China and U.S. involvement in the war between Ukraine and Russia.
Well, Congress returns to Washington today after an extended election recess. Lawmakers face an urgent to-do list and a ticking clock. They have about 5 weeks to pass a funding bill to keep the government open. Another pressing concern is this fiscal year's National Defense Authorization Act. The House and Senate have separate versions on the table and need one that can pass both chambers. Congress also faces pressure to approve more disaster relief funds after Hurricanes Milton and Helene. Meanwhile, some farm bill programs expire at the end of this year, and the debt ceiling will be reinstated January 2nd. The Senate faces a few votes that don't include the House. Republicans are set to elect their leaders for that chamber tomorrow. Senate Democrats are rushing to confirm President Joe Biden's judicial appointments.